All right, what's going on, guys? This is Logan with West Desert Wheeler out here on an awesome warm spring day here in Sand Hollow. Gonna be a fun one today. I brought out my Chupacapra, which is a Capra based rear steer buggy. It has my custom handmade cut and shut tires on it, and it's basically all metal. So super fun, robust car. We're gonna go run through some of my known favorite lines in this area. This is DeKleined. It's a bit out of the way and it's off-road only access, so kind of get the place to ourselves for the day. Let's go check it out and go run up some hard lines. Of course, we got our friend Sydney out here with us. Got my little trail dog with me. She loves to go out and go crawl. So this particular obstacle and I go way back to when I had my 1.9 Wraith and back before my YouTube channel. This wall has always been a little tricky to find the traction, but if you find the right spot, it will go up. And should be high traction today, so hoping we can get it done. This is not necessarily like my high wheel speed car. It's just gonna take a lucky drive. Oh, don't let go now. All right, holy cow, that took a minute. Definitely gonna edit some of that out, but now we're up to the fun part. And I don't know if I've ever actually successfully driven up this. I've driven down it quite a few times, and I've tried to drive up it a lot, but usually the rear gets in a spot that doesn't let you go up. And apparently, all right, what is going on here? Let's figure something out. So drive the tire completely up on that far ledge, and then turn into it, get the pinch, don't turn, let them climb, let the overdrive do its work. Okay, we're pretty secured up there now. So with this width of a car, the canyon's gonna start getting steep. I need to get that front driver lower in the canyon. That's exactly what I was worried about. It was so close on that one that I feel like it will do it. Just gonna take the right timing on a few things. Okay, front driver's got a good ledge to bite into. Yeah, the rear just hit the bottom. That's not really the plan, is it? Lots of binding, you can see it forcing the suspension to do wacky things. Let's see if we can get that clean. Maybe we should try and yeah, it's just an ugly obstacle. One of my favorites to play on. I think we're about to move on. Oh, climb. Come on, that was it. Climb. Climb. There it is. Go, baby, go. No! Need the tires to stick and not let go. Like tiny little steering adjustments. I'm barely moving the servo and it slips every time I touch the steering. So I need to find that perfect line and just let it work. But as the tires spin, they drop and start changing up the suspension and the pressure and how it's wanting to climb. So it's very difficult to find that perfect steering angle and then just hold it there. All right, first obstacle rejection, that's all right. That's how we know it's hard. I'm gonna see where we can end up on this guy. A little too steep to go straight up there. See if we can dip that front just on the inside of that little crack. get the rears to push enough to push it up after that. I don't see it happening, so let's work the car, keep working, and then we're gonna scoop that ledge. There it goes. Now I'm gonna get the rear on the inside of that crack. Get the rear to push and start climbing. Oh, hold on to it. I go steep, gonna get that rear across, and then I'm gonna crab. I don't want the front end to wash down. So typically when I crab on something steep, I'll keep the fronts not on as severe of an angle as the rear, because I have overdrive, and when you get on something steep like that, when the front end comes and washes down, meaning like the traction lets go, it will just roll it, or it'll spin the car too far, and then you're in trouble. So I'm dealing with sand and plants on that back right tire. So I'm trying to find traction where there isn't any. So I guess we gotta square up to that guy. I wanna try and climb this like a V-notch. Oh, come on, car, come on. All right, we're extremely light. So I'm gonna turn the rears left, and it's gonna help push pressure on the suspension to settle it. And I'm gonna try and get a hold of that crack to hold the front end down. There it goes. So far, it's working out. Sweet. Get that rear, there's a little bit of traction on that back left. Turn passenger with the front, I went too far with the rears. Nice, come on. All right, that was a good climb. Never tried that one before. Up the top we go. All right, so we made it up that last climb, and then that hill kind of brought us up here. And there's really nowhere to go off the top other than this big drop. So let's run this and see if we can successfully drop down. So I think I want to try and keep the front turned passenger. And we can use just little steering movements like that to let the car break traction and kind of let it go down nice and easy, which it did. But we're pretty heavy on our chassis here. So I may actually drive back up and then try backing off on a little bit different angle, because it caught the corner of my chassis really hard. Did the same thing again. Oh. All right, there we go. Don't be afraid of a little momentum on those reverse drops. All right, we dropped it out the top and made it all the way up. All right, we got Sydney checking out our next line. I think actually she hears the side-by-side and she's curious who's over there. But last time we drove through here, I was in my Tiger Capra, which at the time was on 4.75 inch tires. And I was testing out some 3D printed inserts. And the car also had a dig unit in it. So got some differences here. This car does not have a dig unit. It used to, but I removed it. And it's also got larger tires. So we're gonna see if we can get through here with the benefit of larger tires, but the negative of no dig unit. I can tell you right now, that was already a way better line choice than my original. So there we go. Now we're gonna try and get the car shifted around. This is where a dig unit really helped. Was getting the front landed up there, which I just used the rear suspension to articulate enough to pick up the front of the car. And then I turned at a key moment and landed the front across. So that was super, super smooth. Let's see if we can just stick the rest of this line. Looks like we're on our way to do it. Gets the front up and over. We're in good shape. Turn that rear back into it. And out the top we go. Nice and smooth, no dig unit. A little bit larger tires, some better line choice, and just more experience driving. It's been over a year since I went out and did that with this, with a rear steer car. I tried it with a Class 2 and it was slightly wet out here. There was just no traction to get it done. So didn't happen, but there she goes in the Chupa. Now I'll tell you guys what, if you are in the competition scene, I highly encourage you to go out and drive your competition cars a lot and get a good feel for them. I would not say that this is like my ultimate performance car, but I've just got a ton of wheel time behind it. And in the last couple comps I've driven this car in, I've been able to do really well with it. In our North vs. South series, my buddy Luke sets all the courses for the North, and I had no influence. I did not set any of the gates. I just showed up and there were cones on the rocks just like for anybody else, and I was able to come out with a first place finish in the North Round 2 Wendover event for 2023. And yeah, I'm proud of it. The car does awesome and I drive this car a ton, so just knowing how to use my rear steer and put the car where I want it, there's some awesome tricks you can use to your advantage. And it did me proud. There's a lot of good stuff this thing pulled off. And trying goofy lines like this will help you pull out some wicked lines in a competition. So I highly encourage you to go out and drive your comp cars. That's one thing that really surprised me at WRCCA Nationals in 2022. It seemed like half the people I heard mention it, or it seems like half the competitors were driving brand new cars that they had never run. It was the first time on the rocks, and they were at a Nationals competition. Now, obviously, those guys probably have lots of experience in building multiple sportsman and pro cars, but there was a lot of brand new builds that had zero shakedown time, and that surprised me because I feel the total opposite way of I would rather drive a car that I have a bunch of wheeling time with and am familiar with how it should handle. There we go. Got it done. That was a cool climb. Let's turn it into a descent. It's right here. I'm going to shift the rear to the other side. It's going to help me get my car in position where I want to drop. I didn't necessarily need to rotate anymore than I really wanted to just shift the entire car over on the rocks. It helps me get me lined up on the line that I'm going for rather than just turn the car more. And then a little bit of throttle control. She set right down, nice and controlled. All right, now we're set up to do the hard part. So we're gonna have to get our car rotated. Ooh, the front end did get light there for a second. So we have to float the front up to get it on the wall. All right, that was easy, one little reverse. Question is, how do we get the rear up? So the plan is I'm gonna drive high driver, or front passenger, and dump the front driver in the hole. The car has a forward weight bias, so it's gonna take a lot of pressure off that rear on that right rear. But I need that rear driver to be on the wall too. So front driver is floating. Man, that's tricky. There it is, that's the line. Come on, car. So we're gonna touch the slider. I'm hoping that it unloads in the rear. And it's actually pushing my car more and more vertical, which is bad. That was close. interesting. Dropped my front passenger in, and it seems to almost have worked. Using the door panel to hold us up straight. It's gonna dump that front passenger off the wall is what it's gonna do. Gotta try and keep the front axle steady. All right, now it's climbing. Don't go too far with the fronts. Oh, we got it. All right, cool. Now we just got to navigate the crack that opens up in the backside here. It's just the width of the car. We're gonna be all right. Wow. That one took some effort. Didn't work quite how I predicted, but we got it to work, so that's what matters. So where am I at with the Chupa? I've been running it in this configuration for a while, and I'm pretty good at knowing what it will and won't do, which is fun for a little while until you kind of just have it in your head like, yes it will, no it won't. There's very little mystery left anymore. And so I either need to change something on it to make it perform differently, or maybe move on. Now, this was one of like my top 3 holy grails, but I also got the #1 holy grail. So I wanted a UC fab the most. Chupacapra was on the list. It was either RC Speedy, UC fab, or Chupa. Now if I hang on to it long enough, I may end up being able to own all 3 at once, which would be pretty cool. I do like the A1. There's some cool options on the A1. Ooh, there she goes. Drag the rear up. But I think mostly what I want to do is get a deluxe transmission in this. Smaller, lighter, forward motor, just like this is, and see if I like how the car performs after that. All right guys, I found this one last canyon. I just started to drive on it and then my battery died. But for the video, I hiked all the way back to my truck. This is probably gonna be the last obstacle of the day because I need to get back home. But took the hike all the way back to the truck, got a fresh battery, and we're gonna try and get it done here on camera. Very interesting. My front servo was kind of giving up on me there. Which it didn't seem like it was in that bad of a bind, but maybe it's just the wrong angle for me. Put the rear up and over that. Okay, so that's just the drop in. Now we got this awesome little narrow canyon. And it's gonna get steep, so I'm gonna try and get the rear climbing up on this side on our way in. I'll shift the front end around a little bit. There it goes. Just needed to scrub that sidewall inside there. Don't want to go too wild on the driver front. All right, it wasn't too steep. That was a bet that I was making. I had set the car in there with a dead battery just to see and gauge how steep it was going to get. And I thought it might be possible. So let's dip that front driver just a bit. These rears are going to get in a bad pinch right here. That's going to try and flip us over backwards. So I can either try and climb the rear passenger more. Oh, she's already not liking it. Well, Sydney, say goodbye to everybody. Oh yes, goodbye. Good dog. She's been hanging out all day today. Got the Chupacapra. It's still in one piece, so that's a good day out on the rocks. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate the support. I've got affiliate links down below. You can hit those. If you buy anything through them, it helps support the channel. I'll greatly appreciate it. I am doing this full time. You can also check out westdesertwheeler.com. I've got a couple awesome products for Axial Capras. So if you've got one, head over there and see what I've got to offer. We will see you guys in the next one. Keep the rubber side down.